I don't know if I'm in the majority here or if I'm in the minority here. Frankly, I've never really cared. But when I saw Coach Ed Orgeron in the wake of, Brian Kelly making some, it's not like he said Coach Ed Orgeron screwed LSU over or anything, but what Kelly, his review of where LSU was at when he joined, he had to be honest and he had to be frank. It might take a year or two to repair the damage to the roster that Coach Ed Orgeron and his staff caused with the opt-outs, the transfers, the way that they planned the roster management, the way that everything just... They never had the numbers they needed, constantly short. Offensive line was absolutely wrecked, destroyed. A few guys, transfer at cornerback, and we are absolutely decimated at corner. Safety was a huge problem going into 2021, and if it weren't for that class having a bunch of local, high quality safeties, who knows? Some of the biggest deficiencies of the Orgeron regime were masked by this great talent from these players. But after Brian Kelly, kind of makes a national talk about it, points out how bad it was, the state it was in, and what they've had to do, then you see Coach Ed Orgeron. And where is Coach Ed Orgeron? No, he's not in a women's locker room full of blondes. No, he's not doing a Porky's skit for SNL. No, he's not in Caddyshack 3. We saw Coach Ed Orgeron pumping up the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, their current team, pumping them up, telling them this team has what it takes to win a national championship, and wearing Notre Dame gear head to toe. Couldn't be happier to be there. It's great to see Coach Ed Orgeron back in the public eye. But you know what this was about. This was a dig against Kelly. Why else would Marcus Freeman or the Notre Dame athletic department, why the hell would they want Coach Ed Orgeron to come speak to their team? Because Notre Dame can't get LSU out of their damn mind. They're obsessed with LSU right now. Even though Brian Kelly beat 2 LSU teams, nope, Brian Kelly was a piece of shit. Get him out of here. And now, look at how horrible he's doing at LSU. Look at all that. They just hate Brian Kelly. They're so full of hate to Brian Kelly, they can't look past anything else. And then you've got Coach Ed Orgeron coming in there, and I get it. He was the head coach of the greatest college football team of all time. But at this point, we know how much help he had, and we know who helped him. Chiefly, number 9. But it rubbed me really wrong when Coach O was doing that. I understand that Coach Ed Orgeron has to feel really bad about how things ended at LSU. I feel bad about how things ended at LSU with him, and I have no stake in whether his career is a success or not. But even I felt bad because I love Coach O. He's a Louisiana guy, a Louisiana native, and despite a lot of his biggest fans on YouTube who immediately turned tail and ran, pretended they never liked the guy, I'll admit, I liked Brian Kelly. I liked Coach Ed Orgeron. I had no problem with Coach Ed Orgeron until he became a problem himself. I was rooting for Coach Ed Orgeron to succeed. There were many who were rooting for him to fail. But at the same time, I couldn't help but criticize the places in his coaching that I thought needed improvement, and 2018 showed that even at times in 2019, but they were, swept away by the brilliance of our team. And then 2020 and 2021 provided things you just could not ignore. But does Coach Ed Orgeron have this type of vendetta against LSU, or just a vendetta against Brian Kelly? Does he feel like Brian Kelly took his job, so now he's going to go take Kelly's job in a way, like with his social media video? You really see who is real, who is the real deal when these type of things go down, when people move, when people get fired, when things like that happen. You really find out who has the minerals. And Coach Brady for LSU, his end was not good at LSU for LSU basketball. But look at the love he still has for the program. Look at the love he still has for LSU. And I just don't see that from Coach Ed Orgeron. I just see, his final press conference, get all that money, make sure you can get all that money and take the money and run. It left me with a weird taste in my mouth. And, when Coach Ed Orgeron does these type of things, like goes and pumps up Notre Dame specifically, when we have Notre Dame's former coach as our new head coach, who has taken his job, who has openly criticized him and the way he left the program in the media. You know what this is about. You know this is playing mind games. And my problem is there's a bunch of kids at Notre Dame who literally just had to listen to all this pep talk, coach speak, all because it was to service Coach O's ego, to make him feel like he has some sort of control over the job that he lost, over the legacy that he damaged by, taking shots at Brian Kelly or something. Like, it's just very, this year when LSU might have some struggles because of the place that the roster is left in, you're going to see a lot of people turn on Brian Kelly. You're going to see a lot of Brian Kelly's biggest supporters right now turn on Kelly. And what were we thinking? Why the hell did we get Kelly? This is so horrible. Oh my gosh. But they will forget in September, October, they will forget where this roster has been. Why this team might be playing poorly in September, October, November. But I won't. I will remember exactly why this is happening. And it's because of the disgusting way that Coach Ed Orgeron left this program. Brian Kelly's just got his head above the water. He's just getting our program to a point where we can actually be competitive. Hearing him say stuff like it's about putting our guys in a competitive place during practices, that scares me. The fact that we have to really do a lot of swapping to make sure we have competitive practices, to make sure we can have enough numbers, that's freaky to me. And so that's why we're seeing an offense versus defense spring game. It's very bizarre. Coach Ed Orgeron doing that speech to the Notre Dame players. I don't like it one bit. I think it is born of jealousy, born of some type of hate, born of some emotional problem with Brian Kelly taking the job. There's something there, and you could tell during that video. And I just think there's a lot of people who jump on and off these bandwagons, and I want to remind you of that. Okay? Go back and watch your favorite YouTube podcaster, or even your second favorite or your third favorite, and listen to what they were saying after the UCLA game. Listen to what they were saying after the Auburn game. Did they want Coach O out? Were they consistent? Were they just, no matter who's the coach, I'm supporting them? Were they, I'm going to bail on this guy when they're losing, jump back on when they win? When you can identify that, that's exactly how they're going to be with Brian Kelly. Because I'm telling you, Brian Kelly is very uncertain what's going to happen here. But all I know is we're going in the right direction. And so I like what I'm seeing. But on top of that, it's just going to be funny to see some of these people jump on and off these bandwagons, and especially for players. I mean, so many were saying just a month ago, Corey Kiner is so good, he should start. Oh my gosh, he's so good. And now Corey Kiner's dead to a lot of these people. And suddenly they're saying, we didn't even need Corey, we don't even want Corey. And it's like, you know, players are seeing that. Coaches are seeing that. Just remember that. You can jump on and off these bandwagons as much as you want, but you'll leave a trail.